This is a Roland drum machine TR-808. It has been used to make some of the most iconic songs in the history of electronic, hip-hop and techno music. This is how it sounds. If you're watching this video in 2019, you've heard at least some of the songs recorded on this monster. Some of them include stuff by Nine Inch Nails, Kanye West, Beastie Boys, Marvin Gaye and other such legends. And this is a TB303, another iconic machine used to give low-pass bass sounds initially developed as an alternative to bass guitar. This is how it sounds. These machines were introduced to the world sometime around 1980 when Europe and the United States were getting fatigued with rock and roll and acts like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple were on decline. New wave acts like British heavy metal followed by glam rock was still new at the scene, but rock and roll had lost its charm. TR-808 and TB303 were going to define the sounds of genres like techno, hip-hop, trip-hop and acid house. Most importantly, acid house. Musicians in the West just could not get enough of these machines, especially the TR-808. But tucked away in a corner in a house in Bombay, a man from Matunga called Jeet Singh was working on what can be described as a mad scientist's pursuit. This is his story. Jeet Singh was a sessions musician for some of India's most iconic music directors like Shankar Jaikishan, Lakshmikant Pyarelal and the Big Daddy R.D. Burman. He also played gigs with legends like Kishore Kumar. Jeet Singh would play the guitar, keyboard and many other instruments. Now on the side, he also played a lot of Bollywood songs at weddings. Now this is how the story goes. On one trip to Singapore, he saw strange looking machines, the TR-808 and the TB303. Intrigued and fascinated, he bought them and installed them in his studio. It's important to note that this was the time when disco was making an impact on India. Disco Dancer had just been released, and being a part of Bollywood, Jeet Singh was obviously influenced by it. Over the course of next few days, he would play around with the TR-808 and the TB303. He managed to find a way to synchronize these machines and get unique sounds out of them. Sounds that had never been heard before. Genre-making sounds. Genre-bending sounds. You see, he took classical Indian ragas like Rag Bhairavi, Rag Malhar, Rag Bhopali and played them over these drum patterns, and it sounded good to him. Very good. He then proceeded to record these sounds. The result? The album, Synthesizing 10 Ragas to a Disco Beat or something else. It was mesmerizing. It dives, though not too deeply, into the ragas which it is named after, but it's the drum patterns that replace the traditional tabla and the synthesizer effects that really make the whole piece stand out. While the origins of acid house are evident in song structures, one can well speculate the origins of trance itself, Goa trance to be more specific. This album is a precursor to modern electronic music. The album was a legit piece of art and way ahead of its time. Jeet Singh had unknowingly pushed boundaries. The scale of his influence is no less than stalwarts like Miles Davis on Bitches Brew and Radiohead on Kid A. But this album was a commercial flop. It went out of circulation soon, way too soon. In the words of Jeet Singh himself, it did not have any publicity. Only sometimes you could hear it on the All India radio station, filling the gaps. Back in the West, multiple genres were going to explore similar sounds as the ones laid down by Jeet Singh at least 5 years later. Acid house as a genre was born in 1987. Hip-hop was witnessing the end of first wave around this time, and trip-hop was not going to enter the mainstream for at least next 4 years. Jeet Singh had turned 50 by then. He was back to playing Bollywood shows. He would eventually settle for a quiet retired life in Bombay. 10 Ragas Set To a Disco Beat was forgotten until 2010. This is Edo Bonman, the owner of the Dutch record label Bombay Connection. Now, Edo Bonman was skimming through records in India when he picked up this lost album. it was by pure accident. To say that he was blown away by listening to the album is an understatement. When he saw the date of release, he was convinced that he had to track down Charanjit Singh. The album was a masterpiece and an important part of the global music history. Bondman eventually convinced Charanjit Singh to come over and play a few gigs to unsuspecting European audiences. Now, before his death in 2015, Charanjit Singh played packed shows throughout Europe. He was happy, but perhaps he was also a bit confused as to why a bunch of millennials were dancing to classical Indian melodic frameworks that were more than 2000 years old. Now, the legend of Charanjit Singh begs one question. Why does it take foreigners to help us validate our own musical genius? Charanjit Singh is a national treasure, no doubt, but no one knows about him. How many artists have disappeared into oblivion just like him? Perhaps we are so entrenched in the mediocrity of Bollywood and its exports that we have resigned ourselves to the fact that anything originating in India can never be as brilliant at the global level. Charanjit Singh is just one example. Radiohead's guitarist Johnny Greenwood's collaboration with Paul Thomas Anderson on Junoon also shows a bunch of genius Indian musicians sitting in a corner doing their thing without a care in the world. The documentary behind the recording of this album displays the casual genius of these guys. Junoon throws up names like Nathulal Solanki, Amar Biani and Chugge Khan, people who are driving international audiences nuts while people back home are still busy with another season of Indian Idol. Look around, maybe go for a gig sometime. There are way too many Indian Idols out there. This is India. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, we hope you really liked that episode. We had a lot of fun making it because we are big fans of Charanjit Singh. If you like this kind of content, do subscribe to India because we come up with these videos every week and we are trying to increase the frequency, trying to make it twice a week. So subscribe and share it with your friends.